All right, guys, this is Irene, CBiz Media. We are doing another secret tape, and we're talking about the film Weapons. For me, I'll just say expect the unexpected. I really liked this movie. For some reason, it had a classic feeling to it. Zach Cregger, who also did the movie Barbarian in 2022, he's responsible for this film. And I don't know if I'm gonna spoil everything, I'm just gonna go with the inspiration as I feel it, what's going on in my head. I did write notes. If you watch the movie, please, I would prefer for those that are watching that you did already watch the movie. Unless you think you're never gonna watch it and you just wanted some perspective, continue to hang out here with me. So there's different themes and things going on in this film. I'm just taking my perspective. I'm not like a movie scientist that can break down pieces of story plots and stuff like that. I'm just a person watching something that I feel that was different, a little bit exceptional, something that I think is pretty good. So the beginning of this film, here's some spoilers. Everybody's hating the teacher. The kids disappeared. And if you've seen the trailer, you pretty much know that the kids have disappeared. But everyone's got it out for the teacher as if she is the reason and the source of why her whole class disappeared except this one kid. But the key is the one kid that's still left behind that's not gone. And we go through a lot of different sides of the story. To me, this kind of looks like a regular film, like what's happening, what's the mystery to it all. It's definitely not your typical horror film. There's just like a lot of dramatic takes in the beginning. The teacher, she's going through her own thing. And the fact that the whole town thinks that she's behind all the missing kids is just driving her crazy. She's kind of obsessed with the one kid that's still left. She's really trying to look out for that kid on some level. So is a teacher involved? Where do the kids go? These are like the main questions of the movie Weapons. It's like weapons. Like, how does the word weapons influence this film at all? I see more vices than weapons. I see alcohol as being a vice. I see, sleeping with people as being a vice. These are the things that stand. I see drugs as even being a vice in this film, but I'm trying to see what are the weapons. And when I think about weapons, sometimes we are weaponizing, and weaponizing is really what weapons is about, honestly, because we weaponize things in order to, in a way, of course, we do it for defensive purposes, but sometimes we weaponize things against ourselves, like the over dependence on alcohol, the over dependence on sex or drugs, and we turn that pleasure, that thing that we feel like we must have, into a weapon against ourselves, and it actually ends up killing us. This thing that we want so bad, it ends up becoming a weapon against us. So that's one take that I have on the film. Some other things that stand out, as far as everything looks unassuming and realistic, and possibly we could find out what happened to these kids. Josh Brolin's character is the angry dad. He blames the teacher. He's trying to see what happened to his son. I think that's his son. And me and my team were talking, which is my girls, and like, he looks a little older to have a son that young, but it's possible. Everything looks like it could be almost a regular drama. It's kind of dramatic, and it's still interesting to watch, but I'm like, where is the horror in this? The weapons appear to be the alcohol, drugs, and sex that people are using to try to cope with everything that's going on. The missing kids and everything in the town. But Auntie comes and moves in. And when she comes and moves into the house where one of the kids in that class lives, then we find out, the true crux of what this horror story was all about. Some other themes that stand out are, pitting people against each other, using children as weapons, which Auntie ends up doing, but she also does it. She ends up using them as weapons against herself on some level once the tables are turned. But she really is just kind of using them for her own self-gain, I'll say. The weapon of assumption. We assume that this connects with this, but it doesn't really connect. So, using that in your arsenal, people's own assumptions can be a weapon in order to protect you in some ways, and that's kind of protected Auntie. Auntie was also a senior and an elderly person, so she was unassuming. Again, another weapon that helped her in this divisive plot. Auntie was giving me Wicked Witch meets Vampire Queen. Manipulations involved, also another weapon. Has anyone ever had a relative or someone come live with you or stay with you for a period of time, and it totally changed your whole house dynamic? And it wasn't to the point of this film, but it makes me think about spirits and different things and connections, and when a new spirit enters your home, what that means and how it affects your whole household. I could just pull from so many different things from this film. I believe we all come with our own spirit and spiritual background, spiritual connections. We may not even realize it, but when you walk into a room, you are bringing a spirit, you're bringing a vibe into that area, into that place, and we all have that thing because we are living beings with spirits. You can bring the house down, you can bring it up, or maybe people are not even really aware that you're there. Whatever your spiritual vibe is, it's gonna do something to the room. It's gonna do something to the place. It's gonna make a difference. It's gonna matter whether you realize it or not. The best part of this film is you should just expect the unexpected, because even with the parent and the teacher were somewhat enemies, they ended up helping each other. They ended up working together. And Auntie's whole supernatural vibe, that was something very unexpected as well. These are some things that, I like the way the film worked it out, because it was a bit of a slow burn, but it let us know the plot right at the beginning. But then it's still I was not expecting from the trailer what I saw and what was behind it and the reasonings. And so I really like the way that they played this out. It was like, hey, I'm telling you what this film is about, but I'm not. Expect the unexpected. The best part of this film is that. Breaking curses, a very just important element. People have talked about this probably in recent years about breaking generational curses, family curses, and things like that. And Auntie definitely was a big curse in the family, I'll have to say. And she made use of these certain things in front of the child and, used fear to kind of hold them down. But she used her cursory ways to control things. She didn't realize that the kid was picking up on those things, and he took those cursory ways and used it against her. Another weapon used in the film. Sadly, the way it ended, I'm spoiling it, guys. Even though the ending was epic and the kids definitely got their revenge, a lot of people were still damaged. People's lives were lost, and people were never the same again. So it's not like the happily ever after, happy ending scenario. It was not that. It was pieces that still were affected, that had to be healed, and it was a bit of hope, but it was still a lot of damage that was done. In the film, the little boy was bullied by some other kids, actually bullied by the same kid where the dad was really trying to find him. Is it some type of punishment for him from being in that scenario? He was one of the kids that was a part of the aftermath, and things weren't the same. He was getting better, but things weren't exactly the same. Bullies were punished in this. Bullies, it was a schoolhouse bully, I'll say, and then Auntie was the biggest bully of all. It's never okay to be a bully, and bullies were punished in the film. I also got a little bit sense of the old fairy tale, I believe, the Pied Piper. There was a bit of feeling of that, of how all the kids had left at the same time, and it was like they were being summoned or something like that. In Pied Piper, he was punishing the town for going against their word. But in this film, I feel like it was more of, Auntie was just trying to get what she wanted and get what she needed. But it also could be a sign of, okay, you live in this little suburban town and you believe that everything is safe and nothing can go wrong. That was an element there as well, as all the parents were like, what happened to our kids? And it's not like a punishment for what they've done. Maybe it's a wake-up call for them to realize everything's not so safe. Everything's not so perfect. There's things lying underneath. And there were definitely things lying underneath the little boy's house as well. So just like a cautionary tale to be aware. Don't get too comfortable. Don't feel too safe. Don't expect things to not happen in your neighborhood. Like, again, this film is about expecting the unexpected. Think outside of the box and think the unthinkable. Don't think this can't happen to you. Don't think that can't happen to you. It really makes me think of that. Just don't get too comfortable. Don't think in such a limited space of what we're always used to. And the things that are going on in our world today is definitely challenging what we think and what we believe can happen and would happen. We are definitely being challenged by that in this place and time as I'm recording. Think the unthinkable and be prepared for the impossible. I'll say that. And praying and talking to God is really something that helps me, because to me, God is a spiritual being that's beyond our sights and what we're normally used to and what we normally could identify with. I feel like it's a deeper thing that God brings to our lives. So I feel like connecting with God is really important to me, and it does help me to see things out of the ordinary. Look at the Bible, all the stories, all the things that happen that people were not expecting to happen, didn't think could happen, the healings, but also just the crazy things that happen, the epic things that happen. It just kind of opens your mind to what could happen and what are you going to do? I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm going to ask God to help me. And the reward money, I was so mad. This is just a closing thought, but I was like, I know that kid was high, but he was a high kid. He needed help. I wish he could have got help, but I still wish he could have got that reward money. And then when he got it, I just hope that he didn't blow it all on, drugs. But, it would have been awesome if that kid would have got the reward money. I would have loved that scenario in the story, but it would have been a different story. And also, who did get the reward money? Did anyone get the reward money? Did Josh Brolin get the reward money? Did the teacher get it? Were they able to split it up? I'm glad they survived the whole scenario. Yeah, that is an unanswered question, because they did find the kids. So did they get the reward money? The other guy, I believe, is dead. The physical comedy, the unrelentingness of this magic she put on these people to do her bidding. It's like they were unstoppable. That was crazy. And that was actually kind of some funny moments, especially when he kept throwing him down, knocking him down. He kept getting back up. That was one of the most hilarious parts. Alright guys, I know I spoiled some parts for you. What did you guys think about the film Weapons? Let me know. Thoughts, comments, questions. And you know how we do. cbiztv@yahoo.com is the email. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Check out our other content. We talk faith, love, and trends at cbiztvmedia.com. That's it for the secret tapes. All the best, and God bless.